Caitlyn Clark has taken the WNBA by storm, cementing herself as the runaway Rookie of the Year. But believe it or not everyone was on board with that narrative early on in the season. In fact, some commentators had some truly wild takes, and one name in particular stands out: Monica McNutt. Let's take a journey through the drama, the heated debates, and how Clark silenced all her doubters, including McNutt herself. Back in June, Monica McNutt raised eyebrows across the basketball world when she made some pretty questionable comments about Caitlyn Clark. McNutt, appearing on ESPN's First Take, implied that it was disrespectful to the WNBA for Clark to be named to Team USA. Whether it was implied or explicitly stated, the take sparked an instant reaction from fans who couldn't believe anyone would downplay Clark's incredible talent. But McNutt didn't stop there. A month later, she doubled down during an appearance on Get Up, arguing that Angel Reese should be the front-runner for Rookie of the Year based on team standings. McNutt's take hinged on the fact that Reese's team, at the time, was slightly ahead of Clark's in the standings, by a mere half game. And to be fair, Reese was having a standout season. She was leading the league in rebounds and averaging only about 2 points less per game than Clark. Statistically, Reese was right there with Clark, making McNutt's argument seem reasonable in the moment. By the start of July, Caitlyn Clark had already notched her first triple-double of the season, a feat that showed just how well she was adjusting to the pace of the WNBA. Yet, despite this achievement, McNutt stuck to her guns, arguing that Reese should take Rookie of the Year based on her team's playoff positioning. But here's where the story takes a dramatic turn. Immediately following McNutt's comments, Caitlyn Clark went on an absolute tear. Over a stretch of 5 games, she played the best basketball of her young career, leaving no doubt in anyone's mind that she was the real Rookie of the Year. Her incredible vision, mind-blowing assists, and ability to elevate the game of her teammates made it impossible to deny her impact. At the same time, Angel Reese began to hit a rough patch, including a stretch where she struggled to even score double digits. In one unforgettable game, the opposing team deliberately fouled her to keep her from reaching 10 points, marking a noticeable dip in her form. It became clear that while Reese had started the season strong, Clark was leveling up in ways that few rookies ever do. She wasn't just performing well, she was dominating. And yet, McNutt was still standing by her original take. Fans were quick to call her out, especially as Clark continued to stack up highlights and Reese's performance stalled. Here's where things get really interesting. After weeks of watching Clark put on a show, Monica McNutt was left with a choice: admit she was wrong or double down on her take. And in true sports debate fashion, she chose the latter. Fans were stunned as McNutt maintained her stance, even as Clark delivered one jaw-dropping performance after another. Social media blew up with fans calling out McNutt for her stubbornness, with some labeling her a Clark hater. There were even articles on popular sites like Athlon Sports, where fans openly questioned why McNutt was refusing to give Clark the credit she deserved. But here's the thing. McNutt wasn't the only one who doubted Clark. A lot of analysts were hesitant to give Clark the crown too early. After all, Angel Reese was having an impressive season. At that point, it wasn't completely out of left field to say the Rookie of the Year race was close. But as we've seen time and time again in sports, things change fast. Just like how Chet Holmgren was a clear favorite for NBA Rookie of the Year before Christmas, until reality shifted. What sets Caitlyn Clark apart isn't just her stats, but her ability to make her teammates better. Her court vision is next level, delivering pinpoint passes that leave defenders shaking their heads. One of her signature moves, the behind-the-back pass, has fans buzzing every time she pulls it off. Whether it's feeding her teammates for an easy bucket or taking over the game herself, Clark has shown she's not just good, she's elite. In one of her standout plays this season, she drove baseline, faked a pass, and dished the ball behind her back to Aaliyah Boston, who got fouled at the rim. It was easily one of the best passes of the season, and it was a prime example of why Clark is already considered one of the best young talents in the league. Her partnership with Boston has also been a major highlight this season. Together, they've become one of the most lethal scoring duos in the league, right behind Las Vegas's superstar pairing of A'ja Wilson and Kelsey Plum. Clark's ability to connect with her teammates has been a game changer, making her not just a roadie frontrunner, but a rising superstar in the WNBA. Now, let's talk about what really matters: evolution. Monica McNutt eventually came around and acknowledged Clark's brilliance, and that's something we should all respect. In sports, it's easy to dig your heels in and refuse to admit when you are wrong. But the true sign of wisdom is knowing when to pivot and give credit where it's due. McNutt eventually did that, and in the end, she became part of the larger conversation about how Clark has silenced her critics. And honestly, this is what makes sports so exciting. Opinions evolve, players step up, and the narratives we cling to in the early season can completely flip by the time the playoffs roll around. Caitlyn Clark has earned every bit of the hype surrounding her, and anyone who doubted her early on has had no choice but to recognize her greatness. The Rookie of the Year race isn't just about who racks up the best stats, it's about who makes the biggest impact. Clark's meteoric rise has been impossible to ignore, and her ability to elevate her team in such a short span of time speaks volumes about her potential. Angel Reese had her moments, no doubt, but this year belongs to Caitlyn Clark. What's even more impressive is how Clark handles the pressure. From breaking records to leading her team in crucial moments, she's shown that she's more than ready to be a face of the WNBA. And with her behind-the-back passes, game-winning shots, and relentless drive, she's a player that fans, even the doubters, can't help but respect. So here we are. Caitlyn Clark has gone from a promising rookie to a dominant force in the WNBA, shutting down her critics and proving she's the real deal. The Rookie of the Year title is hers to lose, and at this point, it's clear that she's not just meeting expectations, she's blowing them out of the water. But what do you think? Was Monica McNutt's early season take completely off the mark, or was there some merit to her argument at the time? Do you think she should have apologized, or was doubling down the right move? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We want to hear what you have to say about this wild Rookie of the Year race. And don't forget, if you're loving this kind of content, hit that subscribe button. We've got plenty more basketball content coming your way. Stay tuned, stay hyped, and keep the conversation going.